Dobrofsky here, and I am on campus, but I just saw Jim Acosta eviscerate an NRA board member, and you know what? I gotta show you guys because we are having so much bad news recently that I think this will cheer you up. Great job, Jim Acosta. Here it is.
With these mass shootings, it keeps coming back to the AR-15 and similar models. Why do people need an AR-15 anyway?
You know, it's just a semi-automatic rifle. I mean, you know, if you want to be prejudiced about the way it looks, but I was aware of what happened in the '94 semi-automatic firearms ban, and there were rifles of similar function that just didn't look as ugly. They weren't black guns like a Mini 14, Ruger Mini 14. And of course, the Ruger Mini 14 was appropriate and the AR-15 was not if it had a bayonet lug or a vertical rear grip. So they designed around
I do want to ask you about the assault weapons ban, but you know, on the AR-15, how is it that an 18-year-old can buy an AR-15 style rifle and have 1,600 rounds of ammo with them like we saw in Uvalde?
Well, he did not have any prior convictions. He didn't have any prior issues that would have kept him from purchasing one. It's my understanding from the news that he purchased it through a firearms dealer. He passed the background check because he didn't have any prior convictions.
Right, but should an 18-year-old have an AR-15?
That's how he bought it.
Should an 18-year-old have an AR-15? What's he going to do with it?
I don't know. Should an 18-year-old have one in the Army?
Well, they have military training in the Army. This 18-year-old in Uvalde did not have military training. He turned 18 and he went out and bought an AR-15.
Ed, the fact is that these kinds of issues are far more complicated than whether we remove something from the public. These issues in criminogenics
you can't buy a beer if you're 18. You can't buy a pack of cigarettes.
Violent crime are more complicated than the easy answer. Do you want to know why politicians seem to go to gun control? Because it doesn't cost them any money.
You want to talk about money? Your entire organization profiteers off the deaths of children at school shootings. That is the only reason why you won't condemn guns, because you keep making money from the more deaths because of the more gun sales. But Jim Acosta holds his emotions together, unlike me, and he continues to pound this NRA board member into the ground. He asks him, how can you defend Donald Trump dancing on the stage? And the NRA board member says that never happened. But luckily for us, Jim Acosta brought receipts.
Your group is holding its convention in Houston, where you are right now, just a few days after the massacre in Uvalde. We saw Donald Trump dancing on stage at the end of his remarks.
He was not. I was there. He was not dancing.
How is any of this at all appropriate? We're showing it on stage right now. He's doing a little jig there. People are waving their NRA hats and so on. It's this celebratory atmosphere right after a mass shooting where all of these kids are gunned down. How is that appropriate?
I think that what you're doing is just telling part of the story there, because at the beginning of his speech, he did do a very memorable memorial for the victims. And he did make comments that were appropriate. But that's not the part that seems to be getting out.
No, the media didn't miss a thing. We saw Donald Trump mispronounce their names with church bells playing in the background. We saw him attack Democrats in between, and we saw him dance on the graves of the 19 dead children at your immoral convention.